Hello, welcome to our new series. We're calling it the Let's Draw series. What we're going to do is we're going to work through a book that I'll show you in a minute. And we are going to learn to draw Disney characters. So here I have with me Camden and Bennett. And today we are going to be drawing the lion symbol from the Lion King. You know, the one that Rafiki does with his thumbs and all that. Yeah. Anyway, so let me go over to my seat because it's over there and we'll get started right into the video. Alright, so what you're going to need if you want to draw with us is you're going to need a pencil and you're going to want a few erasers. Let me pull that out of my kit here. And you're going to want some paper. Now, I have my art easel and I have specific art pencils and an eraser, but any piece of paper and pencil will do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn your paper sideways, actually, more landscape. And we're going to start with kind of a semicircle type shape. So come up to the top of your page here and do a bit of a curved line. We're going to start with a bit of a curved line. Now remember, it doesn't have to look perfect because it is just a rough sketch, and you can already see how mine is looking very rough. Now normally I would go with a lighter pencil, but so you can see I'm going with a darker pencil. So let me show it to Bennett here. We're going with a light arc.
Is that the head?
Yeah, this will eventually be the head. So we're going with a very light arc for the top of the head. All right, and then once you're done with that, come down to the left side. And we're just going to draw sort of like, we're going to make this head into a bowl shape. All right, so come down and make it look like a bit of a bowl. Bring it down to here. And then we're going to come back and connect the right side to the left side. Again, doesn't have to look perfect. It is a rough sketch. In fact, mine's looking very rough. And then what will happen is when you're done, you can go through and you can erase. But the deal is somewhere in there, you'll have good lines. Yes, let me show you. Actually, Camden has it just like that. Camden, if you don't mind moving your page a little bit more.
Get your guidelines.
Yep. And that's the next thing we're actually going to work on. Okay. So now that you have done that, Camden, why don't you show them how to do their guidelines?
So basically, you're going to want to go to a slight curve right down the middle, and then you're going to want to do a sort of like a little bit of a curved line through the side of the middle, and do very, very light. We're not putting anything dark in here yet. These are just the guidelines so you know where to place your things so they look a little bit better.
All right. Yep. So now that we have the guidelines, let me bring the camera back to me. If you can tell, while he was doing that, I went through and just restarted real fast just because my head was looking a little wonky. So now that we have our guidelines in, we are going to go ahead and start on the body. Now for the body, it's literally going to be just a square shape. Now they have the picture up there, so they're looking at it. It's going to be a square shape. And let's go ahead and start, and you just follow along with me. So come about halfway down the head on the right side and come out just a little bit to, it depends on how big you're making mine. Mine's going to come out to about there. So go ahead. It's going to be a bit of another curved line, just slightly curved. Now let's work on the back. Now for the back, we are going to come down. Actually, let's not work on the back. Let's do the bottom before we do the back, and then we can connect that together. So come down to the bottom of the head, just off of that center guideline, and we're gonna bring that out, and it's gonna come down a little bit and then come out, and we want it to roughly be in line with the top of his body on top.
Kind of like this?
Yes, kind of like that. Now, let's go ahead and do the back. What you're just going to do is you're just going to connect the top and the bottom with a bit of a curved line again. All this is very just curved lines. Doesn't have to look perfect. It's just a rough sketch. I'll give you a second to catch up. There, Bennett, you can see right there Bennett's angle. You see the top of his head, but when he moves his head, you'll be able to see his drawing. And that was the end of step 1 in the book. I'll show you everyone's real fast. You see Bennett's. Here's mine, looking like a rough sketch. That's all it is. And here's Camden's. All right, now let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is the legs. Now, for the little Simba drawing, he had little short stubby round legs, so this shouldn't be too hard, hopefully, right? Remember, I'm just gonna keep saying it. It's just a rough sketch. So here we go. Let's do the back leg first. So the back leg is gonna connect to the back, to the last line we just drew. You're gonna bring that line down just a little bit, and you're gonna curve it off to make his feet. Just like that. And then once you're done with that, what we're gonna do is we're going to round that off to finish off his foot. All right, and then that's actually not all we do, because now we bring that back up to make that hip bone and to show his full leg. Just like that. Just a nice rough sketch. Like I said, if you're not good at drawing, we're learning to draw with you. This is just some fun thing that we decided to come up with as we were just sitting around the house really doing nothing. We were like, learning to draw, that sounds pretty cool. All right, let's move on to the last 2 legs. Let's do the front one first. So the front one, you're going to start where the body meets the head. You're going to bring that out, and you're just going to bring that out a little bit. It's not going to be as long as the first one, because this one's going to be, it's going to look like it's off the ground, so to speak. And that one, you're just going to bring it out, and it's kind of going to look like a big U shape. It's just one leg. All right, again, this doesn't have to be perfect. You're trying to draw as lightly as you can. Don't forget, though, if it looks like I'm drawing dark, I do have a pencil that shows up darker so you can see better. All right, now for the next leg, you're going to go you're going to pick up where we left off, where the first leg connects to the body. Start your second leg there, and your second leg is going to be a little smaller and a little bit more rounded, not necessarily a U shape not necessarily a big U shape, as much as it's going to be a skinnier U shape, all right? And just again, nice and easy. All right, that was the end of step 2. Now moving on to step 3, we're going to do the nose, the tail, and the ears. Now keep in mind, really everything in this can be boiled down to simple shapes. It can be boiled down to a sphere, it can be boiled down to a square, a circle. Really, we're just basic shapes that we're boiling down here. So let's go ahead and start with the ears. For the ears, you're going to want to come to the top. Let's start with the right ear. Come to the top right of his head, and you're going to draw a super light circle in the top corner of his head. And if I were you, to get as close to a perfect circle as you can, do a bunch of rough lines, because somewhere in there you will find a perfect circle. And it doesn't matter if you draw into his head. Let me show you my angle. See right here, I drew into his head because later I'm going to go through with an eraser and I can erase that. And again, like I've been saying the whole time, it really is just a rough sketch. All right, now that we're done with the right ear, give you a little time to catch up. Let's go over to the left ear. Left ear is going to be the same thing, except instead of it being so high up on his head, we're going to do it just a little bit lower, and it's going to look more of an oval shape than a circle shape. Don't forget, because it is ears. All right?
Kind of like Mickey Mouse ears.
Kind of, but not really.
Except for tinier. And
Yeah, a lot
circular.
tinier. All right, so now for the last thing in step 3, we're going to do the tail. Now, for the tail, oh right, we do. We have a nose. All right. Let's do the tail. Now, for the tail, you're just going to come up and you're going to do a curved line that comes over his head. You're going to start at the back line, at the back of his body. You're going to bring a curved line up and over that back ear. Just a rough curved line. And then you're just going to bring that back and you're going to connect it back down to the body. Not too hard, is it? is it, Bennett? Not too hard, is it?
Not too hard.
Not too hard.
Except for mine is really big when it gets to the head.
It's fine. I accidentally put mine too high up on the page, so there's not enough room for the tail. Camden's is looking really good.
I put mine low.
Let me see yours, Bennett. Yours is looking really good. And then mine, the tail was too high up in his body, but it doesn't matter. You know, we're just having fun. All right. So here's the last step. We're going to do the nose. What we're going to do is pick a point on the guideline just off the center line and bring down the nose just about halfway. Bring a straight line down just a little more than halfway. And what we're going to do is we're going to round that off to be the end of his nose. So we're just going to give it a little bit of a point at the end for his nose. Now come to the other side and bring the other side down and connect that all together. And it should give you another U-type shape, but instead it should be a little bit pointed at the end for a nose. All right. Give you guys time to catch up. How's it looking? You guys like how your drawings look so far?
No.
They look pretty good from what I can see. I'll give Bennett just a minute to catch up. He's still working on the nose. His is pretty small, but it doesn't matter. It's however you want to do it, you know? Just enjoying having something to do. We're just drawing for fun. All right. So we have one more part in the nose to do, and it's real easy. You're just going to come up to the top of the nose, and where you start your bend here, where you start the bend right here where the nose bends down to sort of form that hammock shape, you're just going to draw a straight line to form the nose. Just a straight line from one bend to the other, just like that. All right, guys, we're already over halfway through. That was everything in step 3. All right, now on to step 4. Step 4 is the fun part. We're gonna do the eyes, and we're gonna do sort of the mane, the lion hair, and we're basically done. Then all we have to do is we have to go in and we have to shade in our drawing, sign our drawing, but that's basically half of it done. So here we go. Let's get into the last little bit. So for the last little bit, we're going to come up to where our nose ends, and we're just going to draw a little angular line off of it, just like that, to be the eyes. Not too hard. We're just drawing the eyes. Not, just nice and easy lines, really. Bennett, how you doing, Bennett? You coming along pretty good?
You can also darken in your ears if you want.
Well, we'll get to
It's
the
kind
ears in a
of-
minute.
It's kind of like a post in football, but
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
that way and more.
Yep. It's looking pretty good, Bennett, from what I can see on my screen.
Can you see my hair, or is it just?
No, you're good. All right.
Because I just want to.
So now, Camden did bring up a good point. Let's go ahead and darken in the ears. So what you're gonna do is come to the top of the head, find that center line between where the ears touch his head and darken that in. And now, pick a line for the ears, go over it, right? And just connect that to the right side of his head.
I'm
The
just
left side, whatever side you're on. Just bring that circle on around to the side of his head.
I'm just making them one big one.
Cool. And then we're going to go ahead and darken in the outline of his head. And one thing to remember is drawing harder is not a way of drawing darker. Drawing harder really will just make it harder for you to erase if you mess up. And it will put lines in your pages that will be super hard to erase, like I said. So the way to actually get darker lines is to draw over it more times than once. You'll get a fuller line, you'll get a darker line, and it'll be harder to see any mistakes you made if you go over it multiple times. All right, finishing up these ears. I'm on my last one. Camden Bennett, how you doing?
I'm making the head darker.
All
Because
right.
I already made all the ears into one, all the ear lines into one.
There we go, just like that. You can see I got a little bit of lead on my paper because I do have it on the side of my hand. Just Camden Bennett, whenever you're ready.
I'm
I'm
ready.
ready.
All right. Now the last thing we're gonna do in step 4 is we're gonna draw that big lion mane around his head, and all that is just straight lines all around his head, any way you want. Have fun with it, just all the way around, even through his ears. Just boom, having fun with it. Remember, doesn't have to be perfect. It is a rough sketch. We're all learning to draw here, but just the main goal is to have fun. Just bunch of lines, all types of different ways. He is a lion, and lions have big manes around their head. Now, if you are confused as to what this is Simba, but no, it is not the Simba and the way that the animators drew him throughout the entire movie. It is the version of Simba that Rafiki drew when Simba was first born on the wall of his tree, I think is what it was. All right, so there we go.
I'm not done.
We have technically finished Simba. All there is we're gonna go in, we're gonna darken in some lines, and then we're just gonna. That's really all we gotta do. We gotta darken in some lines. So let's go ahead and darken in these lines. So let's start with the back. What we're gonna do
I'm not done.
is we're just gonna follow over. If you are behind, you can just pause the video and catch up.
Except for me.
Except for Bennett, if you can hear him. We're just gonna come through. And now a lot of the body lines, one thing that you want to remember is it does need to flow. So when you're doing like the legs, there's the line over the legs. You're not going to do the body line underneath them. You're going to do the legs, and then you're going to come to the second leg, and you're going to connect the body line to the back leg. Just like that. That way, he doesn't look like sort of choppy, like he's not. We want it to look, pretty authentic, pretty close to the original drawing, and it will not if you draw a line through it. And
we are not the professional Disney drawers.
we are not professional
So
Disney
if you
artists.
come here, don't keep not very high expectations of.
Oh, you could say that. All right, let's go ahead and do this back leg, just going over the line that you've already done. Remember, if you go over it multiple times, it'll get rid of any mistakes that you may have made. It'll also make the line darker. Now, this is when drawing light originally really comes in handy, because as you go over your drawing and darken it in, those lighter lines fade to the background and everyone looks at what stands out more, which is going to be the darker lines. So here you see me, I'm just connecting the body line to the feet, bringing that down. I'm going to go over it just a few more times to make it darker. And then we're going to also bring that line up to the tail. Now again, I did mess up in my tail. Is just a little off the page because I put my lion symbol just a little too high, but that doesn't matter. What we're going to do is we're going to bring that down right there, round that off, round the end of the tail off, and we're just going to, sorry, I'm tilting it so it's easier for me, but you guys can't see. We're just going to bring that right back down. We're going to keep bringing that down, and I'll let you see how their drawings are looking. Camden and Bennett, how are you thinking your drawings are looking? Looking good?
I'm going over the mane again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do like what the book shows.
Yeah.
And like do the outside kind of. Like
Yep.
put some dark lines on the outside.
And guys, that is the end of step 4. All right, now we are on to the last step, and all that is shading in some spots and darkening in. Really, it's just shading. We may darken in a few more lines like the eyes, but that's it. And if you need it, I'll give you a minute to pause the video, catch up, and you can hit play when we're ready. I know I'm gonna give Bennett a second to catch up. He's a little behind.
No, I'm ahead.
Oh, you're ahead?
You can also,
Oh, there you go. You can see Bennett's right there. It's looking really good, Bennett.
You can also to get the figure of like the paintings, you can actually go over it with a black crayon, and it'll look really cool.
Yes.
I got my color
All right,
pencils
so
right.
here we go on to the last thing.
Here.
Now, if you see it, mine may look a little bit different. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna come out to the end of your eye, and you're just gonna draw a straight line from the end of your eye down back into the nose on both sides, making sort of a triangle. And that's gonna be for his eye. Then once you're done with that, you're gonna just shade that in. So there you go. There's one eye done, and it's not much shading since it's a very small triangle. Boom. There's 2 eyes done. Now the last thing for the nose we're gonna do is we're gonna come down to this area in this little hammock type area triangle we've made, and we're just gonna shade that in as well for his nose. The easiest way to shade is with the edge of your pencil. You just put the edge on your pencil, the edge of your pencil on the page, and you basically go to town. If you use the tip of your pencil, it'll still look okay. It might just not look as good. And if you do that, it'll take longer. And then if you do that and you're doing a bigger drawing, you can end up hurting your arm because you could actually give yourself carpal tunnel, and no one likes that. No, I did not say that right. I did stumble a little bit. All right, well,
My arm was sore.
here we go to the last bit. The last bit, all we're gonna do is, if you want to, we're just gonna come in and we're just gonna sort of darken up his mane here a little bit more. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that with my drawing.
I'm just darkening up.
And yeah. Again, it's your drawing, do whatever you want. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you like it and you're pleased with your drawing, and that you had fun, really, and you learned something. We're all learning something. As long as you're learning something new, it's a great thing. Also, it's a great thing to be able to do something. Now, if you're still looking at your drawing and saying, wait, but I can see some of the lines, don't worry. This is where your eraser comes in. When we're done with the drawing, when you're done with the drawing and you've signed your name, you can go through after the video and you can get rid of those lines, and you can make it look, you can erase those lines and it'll look, hopefully, like you imagined.
Because even professional artists have cleanup artists.
Even professional artists do have cleanup artists, because, again, it's a rough sketch. You draw light, you come in dark, then you send it to a cleanup artist, and they erase all the lines and they make it look absolutely amazing. All right, now I am going to do one little thing. I'm just going to shade the outside. I'm just going to shade the outside of his tail. It's not going to look necessarily great, but I am just sort of going to... Just right there.
I'm going to use my shading pencil.
Because why not? It's my drawing. And I'm going to come in under his body specifically and make it a little bit more shadier, make it a little bit more thicker, because that is under his body, so there would be a shadow there. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You have just drawn your lion symbol from the Lion King. Now, the last thing to do, and the most important thing to do, is sign your name. Let everyone know that it was your work of art. And hopefully, it's hard to sign and draw at the same time. And hopefully, you have learned something from today's drawing. Guys, this was the lion symbol from the Lion King. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to send it over to Bennett and Camden because they have some special things that they'd like to tell you for what to do. So, go ahead.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn the bell on.
And after you finish your drawing, make sure to take a picture of it and put it in the comments.
I'm not sure if they can put it in the comments, but you know what you can do? Thanks for leading us here. We are on social media. Our only social media, however, right now is Facebook. If you go to Facebook, you can look up Wells Family Travels. All right? Post your video of us drawing it. Tag us in it. We'll see it. It'll be super cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think we're going to try to do this once a week. Different Disney characters, not necessarily always the Lion King, but definitely comment down below your favorite song from the Lion King, what your favorite Disney movie is. If it's the Lion King, definitely let us know that one. And we hope you guys have a good rest of your day.